With a population of 8.5 million people, the stories untold echo throughout New York City. I took the streets to find out exactly what they are. They say the city never sleeps, and with the countless inhabitants, there are many stories and experiences to be shared. All you have to do is ask.
When I'm asked what my most embarrassing story is, the first thing that comes to mind was when I was about 15, I was shooting a film, and I'm an actor, I was in a bathing suit, and we were shooting a scene where I had my legs up like this. We'd just been in the water for a while, so my bathing suit was nice and damp, and we were in the middle of a take, and I farted. And it like resonated so loudly through the bathing suit, and like I tried to just keep going with the scene and like staring at the person that I was acting with, and they burst out laughing, and then I saw all the crew laughing, and it was an all-male crew, and I was doing a scene with a guy, and I was the only female around, and I was 15, and I just farted, and I was mortified. I turned bright red, and then I was like, "We're going on break now," and I like cut the scene and ran away. That was definitely my most embarrassing moment that I can think of.
I write a lot about human psychology, the way that my mind works. I'm always observing my own mind and trying to understand why it does the things that it does, and then thinking about other people and trying to put them together like a puzzle.
Yeah, I don't really want to do this.
Come on.
Sorry.
All right, I'll tell you Boris's story. One day he was in Norway, right? He was traveling alone in Norway. So we're lawyers now, but we just started. We're first-year lawyers. So you have this great lull, you know, in between taking the bar and starting as a lawyer. So we had 2 months off. We had money in the bank. So we took some trips, right? I traveled alone in Southeast Asia. He traveled alone in Norway for a week, where he did some hiking. And he took off from his hostel one day, right? And he walked, right? And it says he ended up walking a full marathon over the course of the day. What, like 25 miles over what? How long was it?
Probably 12 hours.
12 hours. And what? At one point you got totally lost, right? What happened?
All right, Travis, I'll tell the story. There's no story there, really.
Yeah, but it was the happiest moment of your life.
It was the happiest moment of my life, I guess so. The hostel was at the bottom of a mountain, and the first 2 miles you walk up a mountain, then you spend 14 miles walking across a plateau from the hostel towards the city of Bergen. And on that 14-mile trek, I saw one person over the course of 14 miles. And it was freezing, and I was tired, and the sun was beating down on my face, snot running down my nose. And I just felt totally alone, isolated, discreetly singular, and it made me really happy. As happy as I've been in many years. It's something that you don't really get in the city, so.
Drawing is interesting in itself, and I think that drawing people is particularly interesting. It's very challenging. Both technically and just having a live person sit for you. There's sort of a little unspoken communication going on, I suppose. You know, a little bit of a relationship that develops. You know, I usually end up befriending my models. You know, I have one model that she loves working for me because she's like, "Wow, this looks so beautiful." I'm like, "Oh, you are beautiful. You really are." You know, and it's difficult to see yourself the way others perceive you. You know, I guess it's always a revelation.
I think just you, your mom, and me.
We met through a friend of his and a friend of mine. He happened to have been a guitar player, and I love to sing. So I ended up joining a couple of his friends, and we ended up singing and playing music together. And we got together, and we got married about a year later. Yeah, we have 4 children. We just had 1 grandchild, and our fondest memories together, I guess having our kids And we just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary and took a trip to Alaska, which
yeah,
we
that
will
was cool.
never forget.
The trip to Alaska was cool.
That was the best thing.
And this is pretty good too. You know, we're having a good time now.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer in Washington, and I took a hiatus to serve as a Catholic missionary in the Republic of the Marshall Islands in the Pacific Ocean. It was the priests and the nuns who are out there that came from the United States, and they gave their whole lives. I gave 3 years. One of the nuns had been there for 57 years. And frankly, there were times when I was counting the number of days I had been there because it was hard. And I thought, well, how many days has she been here? Multiply that by 19,000 days. How did she do that? What an inspiration. What an incredible lady she was.
My daughter was born on the 16th of July, 1992, which I'm sure you recall was the night of the Democratic Convention where they nominated their candidate, Mr. William Jefferson Clinton. And as he spoke, my wife was in labor. And my father's name was Harry. So as a Jewish man, we would name our child after an ancestor. We didn't know whether it was a girl or a boy. But if it was a boy, it was going to be Harry. And if it was a girl, it was going to be Hope. So Mr. Clinton continued with his speech. And he started off by saying, at this moment in America, a child is being born. And they go, oh my God, is he here? And he speaks about that child as a girl and talking about her destiny and getting emotional. And I'm just blown away what he's saying. And he goes on and on and on about this child, this little girl being born. And he ends it by saying, and now I end it all in a place where it first began, in a place called Hope. And that was the name of my daughter. That's the story.
For Carpe Diem, I'm Bianca Morales. Thanks for watching.